2025 is here. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Kara. Hi, if you're new here. Today, we're going to be going through my entire goal planning session, all of the goals that I'm going to be setting in 2025. I'm going to be taking you through it all. I am someone who absolutely loves the new year. I love a fresh start effect. I love like finding my inner spirit, bringing her out and becoming the woman that I am meant to be. Yesterday, I was actually texting one of my friends, Hannah from Hannah's Recent Reads, and I was telling her I was going to be doing a goal planning session, and she was like, would you mind filming it? Because I really want to see what your process is. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I know this is not like typical book content, but for the book girlies, for those who are interested in just the booktube, reading goals, everything, I am leaving a time-stamped spot where I'm going to only be talking about the reading goals, the booktube goals. So if you have no interest in goal planning, just skip to that. You don't have to watch the entire goal planning session if you're not interested in it. But for those who want inspiration, for those who enjoy goal planning and stuff like that, this video is for you, okay? Why don't we just get into it? The first thing I'm going to do is do my reflection on 2024. I have my journal here. I have my Notion pulled up from my goal planning session from last year. Kind of did a little bit of this yesterday, and I also had a therapy session this morning where we like talked about all of like how far I've come in a year, and like, girl, we've made some progress, okay? I am literally a completely different woman than I was on January 2nd, 2024. So I'm just like, I feel like I'm gonna get a little bit emotional in this video, just like forewarning, okay? This was me reading Echo Sif, just to let you know. And then I had to watch I'll Stand By You from Glee. The Glee version, R.I.P. Corey Monteith. Oh my god. Oh, what a journey. One of my favorite things ever was reading that series in full. Like, that was an experience. Last Eras tour, R.I.P. Okay, so I just finished my 2024 reflections and like recap. Basically what I did is I just went through my camera roll on my phone and kind of just helped jog memories, and then I literally wrote like everything down in my journal. I don't want to show you guys like exactly everything I did because some of it is quite, you know, personal, right? But like, I honestly cannot believe how much I did over the last year. It's made me feel so grateful for the experiences that I get to have, the friends that I have, the relationships I've built, and also like the discipline and desire I have for like improving and becoming the individual I want to be. Like, literally in my goals last year, I wrote down I wanted to be at 7K subscribers by the end of the year, and I did that, and I'm like, I'm so proud of myself. I also have just like come a really long way in terms of like my health journey. I did a lot of yoga over the last year. It really was like restorative and healing, and like I just feel so blessed and so thankful, and I would really encourage you to do this because I feel like if you don't go back and like reflect on like what you have done and like where you have been in your life, you won't realize the progress that you have made. Like, you won't realize how far you've come. I used to hate reflecting. I don't even know why. I just like didn't. I was like, oh, I already know what I experienced. Like, why would I need to reflect? But it really does give you just like a sense of gratitude and just kind of like shows you like tangibly, like look where you were literally a year ago to look where you are now. Like, I am just so proud of myself, honestly. Some prompts that I wanted to bring up, number one was write a yearly recap. What were the major moments in the year? Any trips, vacations, graduations, job changes, moves, like what were the big things that happened? I feel like going through your camera roll really does help with that. Even though I'm not someone who like takes a ton of photos, I feel like I do try and take like the photos of like the most important things. So I felt like that was super helpful. The second prompt that I really like is what are 3 things that you are most proud of and why? I feel like that one was very inspiring to me. Absolutely loved that one. And then the other question that I really liked is any words or phrases that you feel like could sum up your year or sum up 2024. That is kind of the reflection journey that I just went on. Okay, so now that we've done our reflection for 2024, we can go into the actual goal planning session, which is the fun part, okay? This is like the bread and butter. Like I'm gonna be doing this for like the next 2 hours. Like we're gonna get cozy, we're gonna do all of this. In terms of the actual goal planning, I tend to like following a structure or a workbook. Personally, the one that I use is called the Life Map. It is by a creator named MuchelleB. She has been someone who I have followed for like the last 7 years. I swear to God, she's kind of like a productivity YouTuber, someone who's like very into like bettering yourself and all that kind of stuff. She's honestly incredible. She's from Australia. Her voice is really soothing. I would recommend. And this is absolutely not sponsored at all. I just genuinely love MuchelleB. There are a bunch of other resources that you can find on like Google or YouTube. You don't need a workbook. I'm gonna be taking you through like the generalized steps. But for me personally, I like to have a workbook to really like deep dive, think of my inner self, like really reflect on who I am as a person and like figure out where I want to go with my life. And the reason that I like MuchelleB so much is because her workbook, it's a workbook that is meant to combat intrusive thoughts as well. So when you're sitting down to goal plan and be like, I want to like lose 10 pounds this year. And then you get all these intrusive thoughts of like, why can't I do it? Why am I not like, why can't I go to the gym? Where you get like all of like the brain goblins that are just like telling you you're not good enough and stuff. She has exercises in the workbook in terms of like how to combat those intrusive thoughts and those feelings. Because I feel like goal planning can be kind of triggering, you know, sometimes. She like very much acknowledges that these are feelings that people go through when they are working through goal planning, and she like acknowledges them and like creates the exercises to not make you feel ashamed when you are trying to goal plan. And it's just like a holistic, like I really feel good about myself when I use this workbook. So I'm gonna leave her link down below if you're at all interested, but I will be taking you through like the general step-by-step process of what I'm going to be doing. So without further ado, let's get cozy. Let's go sit in my chair, and I'm like so ready. I'm so excited. Okay. Okay, hi guys. It's now 7:18 p.m. Definitely been for sure like 2 hours, 2.5 hours of me doing this. I have worked through the first 3 parts of the life map. I have really been enjoying this, and I feel like my reflection time when I like went through my phone and like looked at the past of 2024 was so helpful. So there were a few different exercises. The first exercise was let's reflect on what's working in your life. She had prompts for every single different area, like friendships, family, romantic relationships, career, health and wellness, like every single aspect of your life. There were prompts to kind of just reflect on like what is working in your life. So that was the first part, is seeing what's going well. Then we transferred into the what isn't working. Like what are the different areas or aspects of your life that you're like, I want to make a change. And then while we're looking at the aspects of our lives that we want to change, she's doing it in a way where it's not like personalizing this, rather than saying like, this part of my life is not great. You're trying to write from everything from a third party perspective rather than a first party perspective. So instead of saying like, I like need to create a morning routine or whatever, you say like, a young woman tried her best to create a morning routine, but she didn't have all the strategies to be able to do that, or like something along those lines. Then part 3 was basically going back through every aspect of our lives and really trying to figure out what is the actual thing that we want in those lives. Are there places that it's where it's like, oh, I should feel like this, like, oh, I should want to get the next promotion? Or is it coming from a genuine place of want and desire? Like, is there goals that are really pulling at you? And I feel like I've narrowed down the aspects of my life that I have had kind of ticking in the back of my brain that I want to improve upon, or like I really feel like I'm narrowing down the goals that I genuinely do want in my life. Through all of these journaling prompts, through all of this, like things just keep recurring. I have recurring themes throughout these exercises, and I feel like I'm getting some major clarity on like what this year is going to entail. So the next part of the activity is kind of to do a like future self versus current self activity. If you've ever done any goal setting before goal planning, I feel like this is a very common exercise where you kind of like, first of all, picture what your reality is right now in whatever area or aspect of your life you're like trying to fix or improve upon. What does that look like right now? Like give the straight reality of what it is. And then you picture your life and like, what do you want it to look like? And like having the two comparisons side by side. So that's the next part of the exercise. I am going to start by doing that now. Oh my gosh, I feel like there's 107 pages in this workbook. Girl, I don't know how far we're gonna make it tonight. I'm gonna do my absolute best, but like I really feel like I'm getting clarity, so it's awesome. Would recommend. Oh my goodness gracious, I am back. You guys, it's been a journey since the last time I checked in with you. So let me kind of explain what has gone down over the last few days, because yes, this is a different day. Here's how goal planning went for me. Made it through the entire life map workbook. Felt great about the goals that I had set, kind of noticing that I really wanted to establish some more feel-good routines, so I made that my top goal. I finished the life map, I was feeling good about it, and I let myself sit with that goal for maybe 2 hours. Legitimately 2 hours. And I was like, yeah, no, this isn't it. Like, I just knew that it was not something that my heart was actually being called towards. I could really feel I was being pulled in a different direction. So I went back through, kind of like reworked the goals that I had set, and was really trying to like think about what my heart was feeling. And I feel like I landed on something that actually feels really exciting to me, and I want to share these goals with you. So in starting to talk about my goals that I have set for the year, the first thing I want to do is talk about my most important goal. Now, one of the themes of the life map that I learned is that the best thing you can do for yourself is to focus on like one main goal. Like pick one goal for the next quarter or the next however long you think this goal is going to take you, and put all of your energy towards that, because if you're spread between too many different goals, your mind gets pulled in too many different directions, and it's harder to like keep all of the balls afloat essentially. So my most important goal does have to do with booktube and around this platform. This is genuinely like my biggest passion in my life. So the biggest barrier that I have personally as my own human being is that I have a really hard time like staying organized. I can stay organized and I get things done, but like not in a super organized fashion. Like my booktube workflow is like just genuinely on the fly, like 80% of the time. And I just want a little bit more of like a systemized approach to it. And like, again, this is just a me personal goal. It's not even like a booktube goal. We're going to get into like the actual more booktube stuff in a second. But since I'm going through this entire process, I wanted to share the goals that I set with you. So my biggest goal is to like really more like systematize my workflow and like make sure I'm staying organized in that sense. I literally created a whole Notion template. Like I tend to like lose things along the way. I tend to forget things that I've done, and I like don't write things down a lot. And it's just like not a good habit to to be in. And now entering year 3 of this, I'm like, I feel like I should have established a better workflow at this point, and like I haven't. So that's honestly my biggest goal, is to like establish a better workflow for creating my booktube videos. That's a little behind the scenes stuff. That's my number one most important goal. Honestly, I just want to be a more organized individual when it comes to my YouTube channel, because I just feel like I'm lacking in that department. And I think it would be really, really helpful for me and help me to stay accountable and continuing to publish one video a week. Okay, so moving on to the rest of the booktube goals. Honestly, the rest of the booktube goals that I'm about to talk about are more things that I'm like manifesting for myself. I'm not necessarily like putting all of my energy into it. My energy is really going into trying to make a better workflow for myself. But the things that I really hope that I can achieve this year, first off, is to reach 10,000 subscribers. I would actually be deceased if that happened. Like, I never, ever thought that when I started this channel, I would be even saying the words that I could reach 10,000 subscribers. Like, that's actually blows my mind. It literally blows my mind. But I like think that it could happen this year, and I would probably be deceased. So, but obviously that requires me to do a lot of work as well. So that's honestly my biggest hope for this year, is that I can reach 10,000 subscribers. Okay, my second goal is one that I am like genuinely, I can't even believe I'm saying this on camera, because I feel like I've been manifesting this for so long, but I've been honestly so scared to talk about it, is that I want to start a Patreon. And like, oh my gosh, there's so many things around wanting to start a Patreon that's like going on in my head. I honestly, number one, have so much imposter syndrome, and I'm like, no one will want to join it. But I know that's not true. So I put out a survey last week, basically asking all of my viewers some feedback on my channel of things you want to see in the next year, of interests that you have, other video ideas, like stuff like that. If you didn't know about that, it's still up on my community tab. If you are interested in giving me feedback, I would absolutely love that. Thank you so much to everyone who has. And if you are going to do that, like, thank you. Like, you have no idea how much that helps me. Like, actually, that is what I base like my content on for the rest of the year, and like my content planning. So if you have any interest in that, girl, I would love you for forever. Going back, I put on there whether or not people would be interested in doing a Patreon. And genuinely, as a girl who has like serious financial goals, like I'm trying to pay off my student loans, I get the financial commitment that it is. I know it is a huge ask for people to spend money on a community like that. And I do not take this lightly at all. Like, I really have been manifesting this and like trying to get myself into a space where if I did start a Patreon, I would want to put all of my energy into it. I do not want to like half-ass anything. I like very much take your time and your money into consideration. And like, I really do not want to start this unless I feel like I'm in a good space for it. I don't feel like I'm in a good space for it at this moment, but I think later on this year, there is potential that I could be in a space for it. However, I'm really trying to gauge interest to see if people would be interested in this. I am really hesitant to like actually take the leap, because I'm just scared that like no one's gonna want to join it. And again, I know that's like not true. I know I have some amazing, incredible viewers out there. I really love you guys so much, but it's all like, you know, the little anxious imposter syndrome brain goblins in my head. Honestly, now am I just getting into my insecurities? Yeah, duh. But yeah, it is an insecurity. It totally is. Not gonna lie. So that's something that I'm kind of putting into the universe. I have been thinking about starting a Patreon for a really, really long time. It was one of the goals that I had when I first created my booktube channel, and it's kind of always been in the back of my mind, but I like really think that with the changes coming in my life this year, like I potentially could start one and be able to pour a lot of energy into it. Putting that out into the universe, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, I genuinely, if you are not someone who does Patreons or is interested in that, I completely understand. Like, we are in tough economic times right now, and putting your money where it is not absolutely necessary is a luxury that not many people can afford right now. Okay, I genuinely get it. Like 1000% I understand. But if there are any people out there who are interested, I am potentially considering starting a Patreon. I don't know. I'm just throwing that on into the ether and into the universe and like manifesting this for myself. So that's my second goal. Honestly, the one that I feel the most excited about out of any booktube goal. Okay, and then other booktube goals I have Honestly, not like a ton, but number one, I want to do a quarterly TBR Tinder first dates this year. I absolutely have been loving the physical TBR challenges that everyone's doing lately. I loved the TBR Tinder first dates one that I did back in August, and I have been attempting to film a second episode to it, but I just genuinely got distracted with reading Brandon Sanderson lately, okay? So that's like one of the video goals I have. I want to do 4 total TBR Tinder first dates. I know people try and do like once a month, but like I genuinely don't have time for that. I'm like, if I can do 1 per quarter, that would be amazing, okay? And then the last goal I have is to do monthly reading sprints. I love reading sprints. Literally nothing in my life makes me more happy than when I'm sitting there with a little ambiance on and like doing a little reading sprint. It's so much fun. The reason why I don't do them more is I forget to take the initiative. Like what will happen is it'll be like, you know, a Saturday or Sunday morning and I'm like, oh, it would have been fun to do reading sprints today. Well, why didn't I think about that like last week and schedule it last week? Like it honestly is such like a desire that comes up last minute of like, oh, it would be fun to do reading sprints today. But if I just planned it out, I think I would be way more successful in doing reading sprints more. So my goal is to do reading sprints at least 1 time every month this year. That would be awesome. Again, it's not like a huge commitment where I'm doing it every single week or every other week. It would just be like a fun little once a month thing. So those are all of my yearly goals for booktube. I feel very, very motivated by these goals. I think they are some that I am like extremely excited to work towards in 2025. So I'm just really glad that I got to share those with you. Okay, so next part of the goals that I'm going to be talking about is my reading goals. And to be honest with you, I have only 3 reading goals. Well, technically 2, but like a little bit of a third one. The first goal we're going to get to is my number of books that I want to read this year. In years past, I have done like a 1 book Goodreads goal, which I've honestly loved because it takes the pressure off completely. But I've done that for the last like 2 or 3 years. And I'm kind of feeling ready for an actual challenge this year. Like I really want to challenge myself and like actually try and read more books this year. So I'm setting my goal at 50, which is an honest, like that is a goal for me to read 50 books. I've only ever done it 1 time in my life. And I typically read about like 30 books a year, but last year I read 31 and I'm like, ooh, if I just amped it up a little bit more, I bet I could read 50. But 50 is an absolute challenge for me and a very good, healthy challenge. Like it's a little scary, it's a little intimidating, but I'm actually so excited to give it a try. So that basically is equivalent to 1 book a week. And I'm just really looking forward to it. I think that's going to be a really good goal for me. If I don't meet the goal, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. And then my next reading goal is to finish more series. I have 2 series in specifics that I want to finish. The first one is the Throne of Glass series. It's honestly, how am I still talking about Throne of Glass? It's been like 3 years. So I have read up through Queen of Shadows. I have restarted the series to try and finish the series, and I've read up through Heir of Fire in that reread. And I really need to finish the series. My entire in-person book club like begs me every time, why haven't you finished the Throne of Glass series? Everyone wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to talk about the ending. I know like something happens in the end. I don't know what it is, but like honestly, if I don't finish this year, make me get rid of all of my Sarah J. Maas books or like I need some kind of big repercussion if I don't finish the Throne of Glass series this year. So that's the number 1 series that I want to finish. The other reading goal I have, the last reading goal I have is to read the Cosmere. If you have been not watching my content, I'm legitimately obsessed with the Cosmere. Like I eat, breathe, sleep the Cosmere at this current moment. It is all I want to do in my reading life is to read the Stormlight Archive, read Mistborn. Like it's consumed me, mind, body, and soul. And I want to read and potentially, I don't actually think I'm going to be able to complete the Cosmere this year, but if I could read all of Stormlight this year, I would be a happy camper. Okay. I would have accomplished something if I can do the entirety of Stormlight. But in order to like do the appreciation of Stormlight, there are a handful of key books that I need to read before then. Like I have to read the first Mistborn trilogy. I should probably read Elantris. I literally did an entire video of how to read the Cosmere Casimir. I will leave that link down below if anyone's interested in it, but like I got some work to do in that department. So those are my like 3 biggest reading goals. So the last part of the goals that I'm going to talk about are the goals that I set out when I was working on the life map and like the actual life goals that I want to achieve for myself this year. And to do that, I'm going to pull up the Notion template that I created because I feel like I've literally been doing all of this in Notion. I just want you to see it. And also it's super cute. So give me 1 minute. Okay. So this is kind of like my 2025 goal setting template. I basically created this template based off of the life map principles and whatnot. I've included a bunch of like journaling prompts over here and like basically like journaling templates from the concepts in the life map. And then I have like my quarterly goals like table here and my theme. And then as you scroll down, just like more goals and stuff that I'm going to be going through in a little bit. So first thing that I want to address is my 2025 theme. I always like to have like a theme or a word of the year. I feel like it sets an intention for myself of like what I want to accomplish throughout the next year. So the word that I picked this year is flourish. And you can see by my like flowers and like cute little backgrounds and stuff like that, that I really am in this flourish era. Okay. I really tried to like step into the florals. And then I kind of have some supporting words, which kind of give a little bit more depth of that word and intention that I'm setting for the year. So mine are higher self, feel good routines, and expansion. I just really feel like I am on the precipice of the next chapter of my life. I feel like I've spent a lot of my time in my life like doing what other people want of me, and I am coming into my own now and like really confident in who I am. And I'm just wanting to expound upon that this year. I really, really feel like flourish is the word that encompasses what I want to achieve and my intention for the year. So I really like picking a word or a theme for the year. I've done it for the last like 2 or 3 years, and it's honestly been super empowering and just like something to constantly come back to. It's kind of like a reminder of like, this is who I want to be with this year, you know, like a manifestation almost. And then I have my big 3 and my 2025 goals. So these 3 outcomes here are the outcomes that I wrote down in my life map and the outcomes that I want in my life. The biggest one, the one that I feel most drawn towards, most pulled towards, is to have a joyful, caring, and meaningful online community. That is something I am truly manifesting for myself this year. Again, if you saw in my booktube goals, like the potential of creating a Patreon, having 10,000 subscribers, that's like something that I really, really want. I really love the community aspect of booktube and YouTube. And like, that is something I'm truly manifesting for myself. And my biggest goal in order to do that, at least right at this moment, is to create a better workflow for my YouTube production. Okay. So if I were to expound upon here, I'm not going to because I've written some very personal things there and I don't want to share those with the internet, but essentially it is a table consisting of a journaling exercise called vision versus reality. Underneath those triangles, I have a vision of what my current life entails, and then I have a vision of what I would like my life to look like. The goal of this activity is to create a tension within yourself for where you are now versus where you want to become. When your brain looks at these 2 different visions, it wants to resolve the tension there. By continuously looking at those visions that you have for yourself and your current, contrasting that with your current reality, it's way more motivating for you and helpful for you to work towards that goal of where you want to be. And then underneath that are my biggest 3 goals right now to work towards those outcomes. So again, my biggest outcome is to create that meaningful online community where we can share about books and like, et cetera, like my favorite thing to do ever. In order to do that, I need to create a better workflow. Okay. Girly Pop doesn't have a good workflow going on right now. Okay. It's a lot of last minute stuff. So my goal is to create a consistent production workflow that works for me and feels good to me. If I think this thing is going to be too overwhelming, I am going to stop at the minute that I start, you know? So I'm trying to find a way that like, this feels good. This feels exciting to me. This feels like something that I want to do. These next 2 here are like mini goals. They're things that would be nice. But it's not like a 100% I need to have these by the end of, Q1. Like I would love to start implementing these habits more, but again, there's something that doesn't feel so daunting about it. Those other 2 goals are, I want to have 2 meals that are vegetarian every week. I feel like I really want to energize my body with like very nourishing, healthy foods. And I feel like I'm not really doing that right now. I don't know. I'm just testing out vegetarian meals and whatnot. And like, I would really like to try to incorporate more vegetarian meals into my lifestyle. And then my second mini goal is to create a consistent sleep-wake routine where I'm not snoozing 10 times in the morning. Okay. Hopefully my goal is to create like, I go to bed at 10 p.m. I wake up at 6 a.m. Like if I can get into that rhythm, I think my life would be forever changed. Like genuinely, I would love to do that. So those are my goals that I'm working towards right now. And then if you go down here, this is kind of like my experiments table where I'm basically, these are the things I'm testing out to help me achieve these goals. And these are kind of like a work in progress of like, I'm going to try this. If it doesn't work, that's not the end of the world. I'll try something different. That's kind of like my little goals dashboard. I hope you guys like that. All right. So those are all of my goals that I would like to accomplish this year. In terms of like really checking in on these goals, I try and incorporate a weekly reset into my weekly life. I'm not someone who's gotten like super great about this, but I do try. I do attempt to check in with my goals every week, if not like every quarter or so. I just like love goal planning. I love goal setting, and it's just like something that genuinely fills me with so much joy. I'm going to leave MuchelleB link down below, and also other kind of like goal setting guides down below as well that I feel like are really helpful. I feel like having a structured template of like, this is how to set goals is so helpful to me. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, leave a like target down below or something that reminds you of goal setting, like an archery target or like something like that. I don't know. I cannot wait for 2025. I really feel like this is going to be an amazing year. Like I said, with all of like my booktube and my reading goals, I am genuinely so excited to see what this new year is going to bring. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Love you. Bye.